On the afternoon of August 5th, 2023, 37-year-old Rachel Maureen stopped at Glow, the bronzing studio on Red Pump Road in Bel Air, for her daily spray tan at 2 p.m. Staff at the studio had got to know Rachel well and mentioned dating sites being discussed on her last visit. Rachel was, however, dating a new partner, Richard Tobin, who she went public with that week. After touching up her tan, she told salon workers she was heading to the gym. Her boyfriend had made a now-deleted post on Facebook about going to the gym together. After the gym session, Tobin, who has since made his social media pages private, also revealed in another deleted comment he dropped her off at home shortly before 5 p.m. Rachel then went to the Ma and Pa hiking trail and was last spotted sometime between the hours of 6 and half 7 p.m. by other walkers. When she didn't return home, Tobin and her children grew concerned and began looking for her around 9 p.m. Unable to find her and her car still in the car park, he made an official report to the police at around midnight. Police arrived on scene, locating the car on the car park near to the trail, but there was no sign of the missing woman. During the weekend search for missing Mum of 5, droves of volunteers turned out to help find her. Her body would eventually be located in one of the tunnels that are located within the park. A man came forward claiming to have been the one that had found her, but the sheriff later dismissed these claims as false.
It's my passion to bring closure to that family by bringing her back and not having them wonder what happened.
Following reports, 37-year-old Rachel Maureen left for a walk and never returned, Gabrzeski and his stepdaughter taking off on a search rooted on instinct.
I just kept seeing tunnels in my mind. I don't know why, but I just kept seeing tunnels.
Despite law enforcement swarming the area for almost a full day, Gabrzeski's stepdaughter locating the body in about an hour. The deadly discovery.
Once we got down there and I started seeing them tunnels, I started getting goosebumps.
Made in a tunnel drain not far from the trail's main entrance.
I saw a terrible mess.
Gabrzeski's visions meeting the reality of a gruesome scene.
There's not going to be an open casket, I can guarantee you that.
He says Maureen's body found in a pool of blood, suffering severe head trauma, an injury he believes could be the result of a rock.
My daughter said that there was a big rock down there that was all caked in blood.
Speculation on who has committed the murder has naturally begun, and the partner is the prime target, and there is no evidence or statement yet pointing fingers at anyone.
Many people are pointing the finger at one specific person, the boyfriend who called this missing person case into us, what began as a missing person case, and right now no one has been narrowed down to say this is a suspect in this investigation. So we are looking at the victim and working outward, working from those close to her outward up to whether this was some kind of complete stranger. And we don't want until we can feel otherwise, we don't want our community to go with the assumption that, this is a targeted crime, there's no threat to the community, because we don't feel confident enough to put that out there and say that's the case.
And has Mr. Richard Tobin been interviewed by you as part of this investigation?
Certainly. He's who made the initial report of the missing person that has now turned into a homicide investigation. Detectives have spoken to him, as well as other family members and other people close to this, and many people who have come forward as a result of the vast social media attention this has received. Our investigators continue to do what is a mountain of work, sifting through a lot of evidence, a lot of interviews. And again, we want timely answers. We would like to bring a timely conclusion to this investigation, but not at the expense of rushing it. It has to go through a process, and we have to allow those investigators the time to work all those leads and again, hopefully bring us down to one suspect and charges.
Okay, and absolutely, and you said you've interviewed some of the family members. When did those interviews take place?
Shortly after, again, we began this as a missing person investigation. So some of the conversations happened early before the discovery here just off of the trail of the victim, and then turned to a homicide investigation. And some of those interviews, the majority of those interviews have happened subsequent to the finding of Rachel here at the crime scene.
And you said you're obviously working out that this could be a random attack as well?
Right now, all possibilities are on the table. We're not willing to exclude some possibility, if you focus on one thing, because, and we're not going to look at what social media is saying and focus our efforts there because it seems apparent to anyone. We're going to work the evidence, we're going to work the investigation and see where that takes us. And right now it's the realm of possibility that it could have been a random attack here. And if that person's out there, we want to find that person and we want to bring them to justice as much as our community does.
And what's the message that you're sending out to local residents here? Obviously, you've been posting on Facebook appealing for more evidence. What's your general message to the public here in Bel Air?
Kind of twofold. Once you see the increased presence here, we have an increased presence along the hiking trail, a very safe place, the town of Bel Air in general, our county, but this hiking trail, which is part of the Parks and Rec system for county, we've increased our presence here. We want our citizens to know that we're out here and they are safe to use it. As safe as you are in anything else in life in 2023 and in the world that we all live in. Bad things happen at the grocery store. We've seen horrific things here in our county. But again, overall, we want our community members to know they live in a safe place and that we are taking extra measures until we bring this case to conclusion to make sure to enhance that safety. On the second side, we want people to share with us any tidbit. If they have the smallest little tidbit of information that they think might be valuable in this case, call investigators and share that with us. Don't go online and post it, just furthering the conversation. All you do there is you have a possibility of hurting the investigation, putting evidence out that maybe would be better served by the police having it. And it's also mindful of the family. We have children who have lost their mom. We have parents who have lost their daughter. We have siblings who have lost their sister. And they, they're looking at this and they're reading all this speculation and, it's not, so much of it's not based in fact. And again, it's just not fair to them, in my opinion.
And just one final question, if I may. You said, this investigation, you hope it comes to a successful conclusion. At that point, you would release perhaps the more information about the circumstances of Rachel's death. Certainly.
Once the investigation reaches, what we would all like to see, a arrest and a prosecution, we would be making a statement as to the arrest, and many more details would come out at that point in time.
But you wouldn't be able to comment on the injuries at this time?
No, and what I have said, I'll repeat here, is that her injuries are not consistent with any kind of accident or self-harm. This is definitely a homicide investigation. Our investigators arriving on the scene, it was clear to the first police officers on the scene, the investigators arriving on the scene, this is a homicide. I know that question was out there as well. How does he know? We know.
In the most recent development, a group of potential witnesses seen on the hiking trail where Rachel was killed have now come forward. According to authorities, this has been beneficial to the case. More details are to be released. Let's take a look at who Rachel is. Rachel was 37 years old and a mother to 5 children between the ages of 8 and 18, born to 3 different fathers. She is the daughter of Patricia and the late Ronald Morin. Rachel has 5 siblings: Rebecca, John, Josiah, Michael and Nathan. Rachel was found dead just a week after her brother's 4-month-old daughter Lily Beth died from sudden infant death syndrome on July 28th. We all know from speculation that Rachel had a boyfriend she had recently gone public with. They appeared to be happy and in love. Tobin's past is concerning, having been detained 14 times since 2014 on different charges from drug peddling to assault and resisting arrest. Despite his criminal background, he says he did not harm Rachel. He has been attending AA meetings and keeping clean, he claims.
A lot of talk online about Rachel's boyfriend, of course, the individual who reported her missing to us, with people, conspiracy theories, people quoting his criminal history. I can tell you that our investigators have spoken to him as they have spoken to many other people, but we are looking at everything, again, from that close inner circle to the far reaches of that this could be a totally random event, a person. And if I, as sheriff, if I could alleviate some of the concerns here in our community by saying, hey, we have a solid suspect. We know who did this. This was tied to somebody, and now we just got to prove it. that would be great. You know, as great as you can in this kind of situation. That would be good reassurance that this was not some random thing, but a targeted event. That would be, you can't have good news associated with this in any form, but our community would at least have some rest to know that that person has been identified. We do not have that confidence, and I keep saying that over and over again. We are looking at every possibility, and to focus on just one individual might come at the expense of, you know, letting someone else, you know, not looking at someone else, and we are not about to do that. If you have something you think might be of value, again, give that to us. Let us vet that information. Let our detectives vet that information to see if it's of value. It might be the key piece of evidence that allows us to successfully bring this case to a conclusion. But on the other side of that coin, I would ask not to speculate or post, you know, accusations or assumptions on social media. That, again, that does the family no good. That does our community no good. Everyone wants the facts. We want to give them as much facts as we can, in keeping the keeping the investigations secure, you know, to make sure we can put together a successful case. We know there's some fear about using the trail. We've stepped up our efforts there with bike patrols, foot patrols, and patrols in some of our off-road vehicles. So our community will see the deputies on the trail for the foreseeable future. We've always patrolled it, but we have a much more aggressive patrol out there now to ensure our citizens are safe using it.
If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like and subscribe. Thank you.